afternoon, or whatever you want to call it. My name is Matt Rossi. I'm the vice chairman. I got stuck with this job tonight, so welcome. We'll go ahead and just call for reorder. Commission. Committee.
Matt Rossi,
Delighted to be here.
Bob Laurie,
Present.
Barbara Fenny,
This is
Carly Borchard,
She might be on Zoom. She is on vacation, so she's excused.
that's Carly, and then Cameron Camlick.
I'm not sure what's happening with him, so. Okay, we got order. So we'll do pledge allegiance to the flag. Should be back here.
I'm problems.
There it is. Oh. Okay. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll shorten this up a little. We have public comment. If anybody would like to speak on anything, just identify yourself if you'd like to say something. We'll have crowd control, so you can just line up about here. And if you do decide to speak, there's a form over there, just need your information. So is there anybody who'd like to make any comments?
Good.
You bunch of chickens.
It's been a while since we've had a meeting.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. And we're gonna skip approving of the minutes because they weren't typed up in time, so we'll take care of it next meeting. And I'm waiting, folks, that you're aware that we meet every other month, and that's so. You don't have to listen to us too much. Elections of CAB officers. Go into that. Is there any nominations? I'll speak at once.
Mr.
Chairman,
Chairman,
President.
Bob Laurie, I would move. And Casey, tell me if you go on. I would move the nomination of Carly Borchard as chairman, Matt Rossi as vice. Sure.
If we can keep Mr. Group, okay, all right. Any others? None others?
I'll second that.
Big pardon?
I'm seconding.
You're second, okay. It's being second. Unfortunately, all in favor. I stuck again. Okay, anybody against? We're gonna move right through this. Okay, our next on the agenda is public safety update. That's the Truckee Fire Department. And gentlemen, you're on.
Well, thank you. I want to start by introducing myself. I'm Richard Edwards. I'm the new fire chief of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District.
Oh,
So I want to come out tonight and say hi to everybody and put a face to the name. I'm from the area from Stockton, California, where I served as a fire chief for about the last 5.5 years, almost 30 years in the fire service. A lot of experience in financial challenges, dispatching, communications, and so forth. So happy to bring that skill set here to the region to kind of leverage that for some of the challenges we face in our fire team as well. So I look forward to working with all of you. Sure, we're going to be talking more in the very near future.
our area is slowly pulling everybody out of Stockton. If you're not aware, the chief of police came from Stockton too. Lastly, so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And now I'm going to introduce the township director to give you an update on fire.
Good evening, Derek Reed, Township Truckee Meadows Fire Director. Before I read you the stats, I'll give you a couple tidbits of information. So we are in a high two extremes risk for wildland fires. So it's the barbecues, it's the towing chains, it's the lawn cutting, and using torches for any particular reason, grinding, even mechanical work for vehicles. All those things are keep in consideration. We want people to keep a clean yard, obviously, for fuel reduction, but it's the timing of, the heat of the day, and also wind. Wind plays a huge role in rapid fire spread. And it doesn't take long for a fire to just take off and then, yeah, you guys see what that looks like. That kind of ties into the next one as far as taking care of yourself in high heat times, hydration being one of them. If you think about waking up in the morning, you fasted for 8 to 10 hours, depending if you sleep a lot. You're already dehydrated starting off the day. It's about getting hydrated before the time that you need it, so you don't get behind the curve. So drinking fluids, beverages without sugar, preferably, but something that has some kind of form of electrolyte, magnesium, sodium, things like that. Lightning safety, if you can hear it, has the potential to strike you. That's the message. And we do have those thunder boomers that come in late in the afternoon. If you can hear it, seek shelter, and yeah, don't find out the hard way. As far as stats go, for June, EMS, we've had 15 calls for service, motor vehicle accident 1, public assist 1, good intent 15, false alarm 1, for total calls 33 in June. And that's the end of my report, unless you have questions.
Either here, I got a couple that maybe be a little off base, but sometime back, we got a presentation from the river and about homeless sleeping on the tracks or near the tracks and stuff. Have you had any situation where a fire has been created because of that situation?
That's hard. That's hard to, I can't say we have had, we've had fires that have been undetermined based on lack of knowledge of what the actual start was. Just because somebody's in the vicinity of the start doesn't necessarily mean they started it. So that's kind of the tough question to answer, because I don't have stats for. I could tell you this: 80% plus fires are human caused. Well, so.
You guys working with nothing else, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so, any questions from the group here?
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Following up here with your last one. The human caused fires. Do local governments ever take any action in response to that to recover calls? Criminally, civilly? How often does that happen?
I can tell you when it does happen, and that's when lots of houses burn, lots of property gets destroyed, and lives are lost. On the other end of the spectrum, an escape campfire that extends 100 by 20. There's probably not much action or investigation that takes place to seek out that person that last occupied that campfire. But when they get big and they do a lot of death and destruction, they're always looking for, someone. So.
And how often can you determine cause? I know you have forensics. So when do you send those people in? Does a fire have to be a certain size before you do that kind of follow-up, or is that?
We find out cause quite a bit because I'll give you an example. We had a structure fire one time. We showed up and the house was on fire. We put it out, went to the homeowner and we said, "You know what caused the fire?" He's like, "Yeah, I was filling up my generator. Power was out and I was pouring gasoline in it and it got some on the motor and it lit and then it caught on fire and then I tried to pull it away and splash fire up on the side of the house." Cause determined. So sometimes they'll tell us and that helps us determine that. Wildland fire, that's different. We do have lightning trackers, so if there's a lightning that we can identify that hit ground and there was a fire that started in that area, we found the cause, or we're pretty certain of the cause.
I got just one more question for you. Every so often, at least once a year, you hear about a fire starting where they had construction, they were building a house or something, and sparks came off or something like that. Have you had much situations like that addressed to you lately?
Due to new construction or renovation?
Either one for that matter.
I can't say that I haven't, but it doesn't mean that I just can't recall that particular instance.
Just curious. Thank you, appreciate it. Nothing else from you. Okay. We could get it all. Get it all in that, in case there's any modifications. So we'll hold tight till next time we do that. Okay, thank you, appreciate it. Neighborhood development. We got, sorry, we got, Verdi again. Yeah, okay, great. Hi, how are you?
How are you? This is the appropriate place to stand over here, right, so others. Hi, everybody, how you doing? My name is Lieutenant Nick Town. I just took over all the cabs to County fairly recently, so single along the roof. We along with various cabs around the county and happy to attend. It's a couple updates specific to Verdi, West Truckee, Meadows area. For the sheriff's office, some of our data, excuse me, our Q2 or scorecard has come out, so I have a lot of fresh data as of July 10th. The 3-year average calls for service specifically for this area is about 660. Most of those are dispatch or self-initiated activity. Self-initiated activity is up significantly, which is a direct result of our increased staffing. We have more deputies out on the road that have passed, and they're allocated a lot of proactive work. We've gone from 668 3-year total calls for service for 3-year average to 1,004 just in the West Truckee Meadows Verdi area. And another thing of note for recently, on July 4th, our dispatch center is easily about 1,400, 1,500 calls for July 4th. This year it was extremely busy, for 2,000 calls just on July 4th. That's 911 calls, people calling out an emergency for any variety of reasons you could possibly. But my trends, we are down in quite a few. Most of the ones that went from like 1 to 2, so it wasn't a significant, big percentage increase. So it wasn't a big increase. In general, we do have an increase in our students 6 to 7, but solar property is down. We are down to 0, and that's probably a result of us doing significant proactive work at the trailheads, doing checks throughout the night, make sure the belongings stay safe, as well as in front of that people lock their stuff up and the target opportunity seems like recently as well, since we had created a presence and started some education as well. Does anybody have any questions specifically for the sheriff's office that I could try to answer?
Anybody from here? Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Art Finney, for the record. Was your group instrumental? Sorry,
No worries.
deep sex. Was your group instrumental in catching the postal guys who were stealing mail in part of Somerset?
No, I don't know. I think that was the detective division. They don't always let me know everything they're doing over there. But depending on what part of Somerset, part of that is ours, part of it is Meadows, so it depends. But usually detectives handle that.
I understand from a postal person that they caught several people. They're not sure if they got everyone. And in Mogul, and I'm not sure up in Somerset and Sunset Bluffs has the stacking mailboxes. And Sierra Canyon, I'm not sure about that status, but they somehow get a key.
Yes.
And they go to the back of the box and they have a bed and they just start throwing everything in. And so apparently, according to this postal person, there are more than one team and they rotate around to different subdivisions. And they might take a little break for a while and then all of a sudden whammy. So if you see anybody who doesn't look like Santa Claus, who has a big white bag or black bag, and they're behind those boxes, and they're looking around, watching anybody driving down the street or anything, please just report them.
Absolutely. And in general, if you see suspicious vehicle, or suspicious activity, please do so, because specifically to those, that crime experience. Yes, unfortunately, through nefarious websites, you get things like keys, those boxes. But usually those guys are caught, for the case of Brogan, by a simple traffic stop, from a proactive police officer or deputy sheriff. You go there, you're trained to look for indicia of criminal activity, and very often you will catch them with mail from dozens of other people, and that will bring that case out of it, gives us something to go down.
Well, apparently, they, when they're caught and they're thrown in the slammer, it's 10 years.
Federal crime.
So please be aware and don't hesitate to call a non-emergency because you don't know what it is. Truly, but you know, you see somebody drive up in a white van and they're blocking the mailbox and looking around and see, which is what I saw, and walking behind the mailbox. And apparently now they've gotten smart and they're changing the keys on all the boxes that have been hit. So,
And anytime you see a 785 of CSO, it's our own emergency. More than happy to come out and check it out.
Anybody else over here? How about out here? Any questions for here? I just want to bring up one thing that I got involved in. Like 911 operators, and they come up with this program about a year and a half ago, like sit alone, not where you in the car, but you sit alone with the dispatchers. And I signed up for a Friday night for 4 hours, and it was really entertaining. I'll tell you, it was a trip. I mean, to see what these people go through. And the interesting part was almost all of them were female that were on the board. And I said, well, geez, straighten this out a little bit. And so I said, we get some guys in here. So I talked to the director. She said, if you could find somebody, a guy that's multitask like women are, be more than happy to take it. Even like we're sick of what we have. So that was kind of interesting. But it was a great program and it was well informed, and they treated me well. So thank you.
Here they are, every new deputy that comes through has to do same one themselves. Is that they're rock stars out there.
I'm gonna bring, no questions out of here. I'm gonna bring up something that I was gonna wait till the end, and I'm afraid sometimes these staff leave a little early. It's really a shame to have this type of group here to come and make presentations to 5 of us. It's really kind of a shame. And Casey and I had talked some time back, and I think what we're gonna do, and when I mentioned it to some of my neighbors, said about the cab, California.
That's talking about way.
I was out to last night. I say California.
Yeah.
Our cab, and the only way I think that we've tried it, I suggested it on a different research level, and you could hear crickets. There's nothing to it, but I would like to start a program when we start contacting the HOAs in our area and let them know, because they don't know if this was even here. And I think it would really make a big difference if, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
So, and don't get discouraged for people like yourself that are coming to it and saying, is it really a waste of time or not? I think it's just because that nobody has really informed the public of what's going on. So bear with us, we're gonna get rolling. But,
You can share your HOA information with us. We would really appreciate that. We're working with our mapping team to map the 531, give or plus, HOAs in Washoe County, so that we can make sure they're engaged and there's transparency with what we're doing, but so we can reach them and share this information with them as well. But it would help to hear from you what HOAs are in your area, so that we can make sure we're not missing them in that 531, give or take,
yeah,
that we're trying to map out.
I think we keep it within this area as a start, just to see, and then either have HOA night or something, and where you folks are here, and I think it's gonna make a big difference, I really do. I think it's just something you just have to put down and go to the gas pedal, so Bear with us, this is, I can understand where the cabs are saying, should be really happen because nobody shows up for it. But most of the time, nobody knows about it, so.
Harley did send us the email out, but I don't know how many people were on it because it was disclosed, you know, everybody's name, so I'm not sure how many she has on her list.
The list that Casey gave me, some of these property management companies had like 40 or 50 HOAs. So just to cipher it down to the zip codes that are in our area that we cover right now, make a big difference, but. No other questions?
Well, one of the problems you get into regarding participation, and I don't care whether it's a cab or an HOA board meeting or a city council meeting or a commissioners meeting. People will generally attend when they have a defined interest in something that's happened. It is not commonality that people go, well, I'm interested in my community. I think I will show up and attend this meeting. Most people don't do that. They have to see something that affects them specifically before they get up out of the chair and attend a meeting. And so it's a question of specificity of issues that are discussed. So that's a whole cabbage separately discussed.
Well, HOAs as a rule, if you get board members, if you get board members on the HOA, they have some concern with their area. And I think that's where we have to start, letting them know that there is a concern and we're care to share it with you, excuse me. So bear with us, we're gonna see if we can get something going. And I don't know whether you're aware or not, if we check with the city, and I'm not gonna go through a long story or get on a soapbox, but the city of Reno came in with a deficit of $26 million or something like that. So one of the first things they cut were committees and commissions. They're all volunteers. There's no money involved there. The only thing was that they have to have staff to run the meeting, like you have Casey here. And the worst comes to worst, they're concerned about the overtime. Just have it start later in the day so they don't have overtime. But this is a time now where the city and the county really have to reach out to the public and say, this is what's going on. It's like they're trying to hide themselves and just fumble through it. Their big step, the last big step was they laid off 8 people. $26 million. That must have been some wow for salaries. I don't know how they did it, but it really makes you question. But thank you for letting me say that.
All
Yeah, that's it. So otherwise, go.
I volunteered to announce our cab for Northwest Reno online on Nextdoor. And it's a good way to get the word out. And if anybody wants to run with it on, other sites, that might be a good way too. There's a specific area now where you can dedicate it just to your area. So.
I saw yours today.
Yeah, that was the reminder. I put another one.
So
A few days ago. Yeah.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And all the valuable information you're getting from these folks, it's a shame that we can't share it anymore. Just having to repeat it to your neighbors. So thank you all for your service. And we appreciate you stopping by and giving us an update. And we have now emergency disaster.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica Adams-Lopes with Washoe County Emergency Management. I'm going to talk to you about emergency alerts and alerts and warnings in general, but emergency alerts to start. Just asking, thank you. All right, so next slide, please. So we send emergency alerts through as many methods as we possibly can. We take advantage of the Integrated Public Alerts and Warning System, or IPAWS.
Pretty good.
Under the IPAWS system, we have EAS and WIA. So EAS is the Emergency Alert System, which is what you would traditionally hear the womp 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 sound on radios and TVs. Whereas the WIA system is wireless emergency alerts, where an alert is sent and it is bounced off of cell towers in an area. We identify that area by drawing a polygon or a radius within our system. We can also send alerts through text, voice, mobile app, the Smart 911 app itself, and through social media. So our alert system is tied in Washoe County Washoe County's Facebook and Twitter profiles. Next slide, please. So we used to use a different system for emergency alerts, but due to some kind of confusion with the name, it was called Code Red, which can be confused with other things that are called Code Red. And just the functionality on the back end, we decided it was time to switch to a more robust alerting platform. So in September of 2024, we switched to something called Rave Alert. Can be a little confusing, but Rave Alert is our side of things and Smart 911 is the public facing side of things. So we kind of just say Smart 911 just to keep the public informed and not confused as to what we're talking about. But the reason why we really like Smart 911 is that we're able to query lists of people. So if you go in and create a Smart 911 profile, which I highly encourage you to do so via this flyer that I brought here, there's QR code and you can download an app as well. But if you create a profile and you indicate that you have access to functional needs, we're able to query a list to determine if you are maybe near an evacuation area, and we can, reach out to you to ask if you need help evacuating, and just have a better situational awareness of what the needs are of that area. So, like I said, Smart 911 is the public-facing portal to sign up, and as I just explained, you can indicate whether you have access to functional needs, any medications, if you have pets, and how many people live in your home, etc. See, it's important to sign up for Smart 911 because all of the data that was transferred over from our previous system will completely vanish in September. So they gave us 1 year to switch everybody over basically, and that is coming up very quickly. So our big push right now is just trying to encourage the public to sign up for the system. We had about 100,000 transferred over, so we want to at least double that, triple and quadruple that number. So and again, you can indicate any specific needs within this platform. So how you sign up is you can go to readywashoe.com. You can click on the alerts and warnings tab, click the link to sign up for alerts and warnings, and then fill out the boxes to create. It's like this. And that is a QR code that you can actually scan right now to sign up to. I'll give you a minute to do that if anyone would like to. If not, we'll move on. I also want to talk about Perimeter. So Perimeter is our real-time situational awareness platform. Again, I have a handy little flyer here, but the main takeaways with Perimeter is that it is utilized by first responders, emergency management, and the public. So this is great because, Sheriff's Office or Truckee Meadows Fire can go onto the app and they can draw a map themselves to indicate whether there's an evacuation needed or an evacuation area, if there's a road closure or whatever the cause, and then that is immediately able to be seen by the public. So you are seeing what the first responders are seeing as soon as that is published. Oh, sorry, you can go back. Sorry. Okay, the best thing about perimetermap.com is that there is no login or sign up required. Go to the website at any time, you don't have to download it. So the website, perimetermap.com, go to it right now. And this is just an example of what it could look like. This would be really crazy if this was all going on at once. But the red is for evacuation area. Blue is like an evacuation lifted. Yellow is a warning area. And then as you can see on the far left here, we have some road closures and some evacuation routes, etc. It'll always say what the color or line is. You can click on the shape, if you will, to get more information. We will include in the description about, you know, any relevant information, like where to evacuate to and more about the hazard itself. I guess that's all kind of we had for that, but that's Kelly, my boss, sorry, not me, but I didn't change that, but does anybody have any questions? Robert?
Oh, thank you. Barb Benny. How current is this map,
Perimeter map?
the perimeter map?
It's updated, I mean, it is accurate as yeah, as we speak, basically, so if you were to go on right now. You shouldn't see anything happening. You know, it's basically, as soon as we hear from law enforcement or fire. Either they're updating the map or we're updating the map, but it is instantaneous. It's really a great tool because previously we didn't have anything like this. So when you would send an emergency alert, we would have to say, you know, evacuations between Gold Street and Silver Avenue, and like there's a million of those street names within Washoe County, and it's confusing and people don't know where it is. We only have so many characters we're allowed to include in those messages. So by having a platform like this, we're able to let the public visually see where they are in relation to a disaster.
So new housing and what they call developments, any new storage facilities built by the county or city?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
On there?
Yes, sorry, so perimeter map is, they integrate Google Maps and all of those, you know, Google Earth, etc. So what's great too is you can view the map either like just like a street view, or you can do a satellite view. You can actually see, you know, like down to like a house level. You can zoom in and you can see it, and it's, like I said, completely updated according. I think they tie in with Google Earth, so like whenever it's being fed in from that system, so it's as accurate as that. But yes, you can see like new developments.
So, earlier we had mentioned,
What was that, sorry?
HOAs. I happen to be temporarily on the board of my HOA. And my HOA is from a community of seniors, which makes communication more difficult because seniors simply don't communicate as often. They don't usually get out and go to the office, or not having community as often. So we have talked about communication. And my HOA has the same problem that other HOAs have, that it's reaching out to all the residents. We're divided into villages. So we've talked about, gee, how do we communicate to everybody? Do we have block captains? Do we have people that go around knocking on doors? Wondering if in the emergency management systems that exist, there's some kind of template or program that talks about setting up local communication networks that maybe HOAs can use. We can talk about it internally, but it's really difficult to promote from within. If we had something to work with, some state brochure, some county brochure that says, if you're in a community and you want to set up a local communication system, this is a recommended protocol to allow us to do that. Such a thing exists, so that'd be my point.
Not that I'm aware of. I will also defer to Kelly. She knows of anything, but
I don't, I mean, and we can certainly work with you to help make that for your neighborhood if that's what they're looking for. I think with other HOAs that we've dealt with, you know, they already have communications and process for delivering information, and so they just use that. I think a really good example might be the LDS church. They culturally are set up in that way already, and so it's much easier for them to have. Systems like that where they check in on one another, it's expected. And so, I don't know, maybe there's an opportunity for us to tie in with them and see how they, have something set up and to see if we can apply it to your neighborhood.
Thank you.
Other questions?
You can do it. It's fine.
Would you like?
If you'd like us to.
I mean, I think Jeff did a really great job. I will say with our change in alerting system, that came after the Jenkins fire. And we have been looking for probably a decade for something that allowed us to reach people with access and functional needs who were outside of the evacuation area to say, hey, if you need extra time, take it now. To leave, and especially to people inside to say, if you need help, you can't evacuate, please let us know. So the new system that we have gives us the ability to have two-way communication with those individuals, and we have used it on every fire in the past, I mean, this year so far. So, and because there are not a lot of people signed up in Smart 911, it's maybe one or two people that we're reaching out to say, hey, if you need help, you know, call 911 or call us and reach out directly, because what we're gonna do with that information is reach out to the sheriff's office or to incident command and let them know your location and that you need help evacuating. And so that's really, you know, for us was the big driver behind the change, because we do recognize that people with mobility issues have they have a need for extra time in evacuating, and so we want to make sure that we're helping those individuals specifically. You can add more details about your house, like Jess says. And then I think with perimeter, the way that their system grabs information is instantaneous, whereas other systems refresh on like a timer. That's not how they're set up. But what's also great about that is when we draw an evacuation area, it tells us internally how many people are in that area during the daytime versus the nighttime. So some areas are more they have a bigger daytime population because it's more businesses, whereas other areas have a bigger nighttime population because it's residential. And so that's really helpful when we're working with partners like the Red Cross, and we're looking at, do we need a shelter? And one of the big changes that we've made in the past year or two is to switch to libraries as temporary evacuation points. Our community in this region is incredibly resilient. And neighbors take care of each other, and everyone has an RV. So like nobody usually needs a shelter, nor do they want it. And so we set up a temporary evacuation point at libraries. They're already a source of information and comfort, and we have the keys. So it's easy to open. We don't have to wait for someone to give us approval to use the libraries. And then we'll kind of take the pulse. A lot of our fires resolve themselves very quickly because of our awesome fire crews. Not just saying that because they're not happy, but it's true. And so oftentimes we don't need a shelter because the situation is resolved itself in a few hours. So I'll just say that typically where we're going to send people is a library if we can.
I just wanted to add that whether of this caliber for staff or emergencies, fire and police, you still live someplace that you might have an HOA. And I just happened to come from our meeting, and we have our newsletter coming out. So I'd like a couple of copies. We'll make extras and slip them in the newsletter, because most of the stuff we send out nobody reads anyway. So if this falls out, we're going someplace. So consider that when you do like your HOA, and go from there.
Question, FEMA requires the preparation of a local hazardous mitigation plan. I assume they am by all local government entities. I assume the county has an updated plan. I'm familiar with them. They are difficult. FEMA changes. I think they just changed the standards. Are we up to speed?
Yeah, oh, Bob, we couldn't be more fresh in our regional hazard mitigation plan. It is in the adoption phase right now. And FEMA is just waiting on the last of our agencies so that it could give its formal stamp of approval, but we just finished And you're right, it's arduous and it took about 5 years of you apply for the grant 1 year, then you get it the next, then you do this. And so then you spend a year doing the plan update and gathering public input, and then you're good for about a year. And then you start moving.
These plans are literally difficult. You often have to obtain the services of a consultant to assist with that. Otherwise, you submit it, it gets kicked back, you have to do it all over again. And one of the problems is, again, every local governmental entity has to do this. And how many do we have in the country that FEMA is gonna look at? Thousands. And does that ever happen? No. So the question is, are these plans really worth the investment, or are they too bureaucratic? You are not required to respond.
Oh, I want to, because let me tell you, there are many facets to emergency management, and I am a super nerd when it comes to mitigation. So, when I came into my role in emergency management, as the administrator, one of the things that I wanted to focus on was building the mitigation portion of our program. And I'm so glad that you're highlighting this, because before, what we would do is update the plan, it would sit on a shelf for 5 years, then we'd reach out and say, hey, how'd it go? In the next round of updates. And so what we've done to change that is that now we've hired a mitigation coordinator. Her name is Sabrina Bradwell, and she's brilliant. She's created a program. So we have mapped all of our hazards. We have assigned ownership by jurisdiction, and we, in this latest plan update, have also assigned funding. As we know it, what funding sources will fund each action item? And we know that it's approved, so we're not wasting 3 months creating a grant application that's not gonna be approved because they don't fund, I don't know, EV chargers for some reason. And so now we're able to identify those funding sources ahead of time and in the plan update process, so that when they become available, we're ready to go and we're not wasting time. And we know if a grant is gonna require local funding as match, or what the stipulations are, so that we can better support from Washoe County Emergency Management, our partners, Truckee Meadows Fire in North Lake Tahoe Fire Protection District, Truckee Rivers Flood Management Authority, the cities and the tribes, as well as the county. So yes, it is a hard process, but we've made it so that we're keeping a pulse on all 140 something action items listed in our plan. And we can drive those through to completion. And so the first one, so mitigation funding also requires match from the local jurisdiction to ensure input. And so Sabrina's position can be used as match, as like a soft match. So we were really strategic in that way, where she's working on a project, her time spent on that project counts as match. So the first project that she worked on is avalanche, which may not mean much to people down here in the basin, but we have the only urban avalanche area in Tahoe. And so, and those that impact critical infrastructure like water tanks, homes, roadways. And so what we were able to get was educational signage and signs letting people know that they're parking in an avalanche area. So while it's a very small project, we're super proud of it because we've never pursued from emergency management a mitigation action item like this before. I think it's just the first step. That was a very long-winded answer, and I'll stop there. Keep going. So does that answer a little bit of your question?
So, my reason for being somewhat positive about the question is, local agencies are ultimately measured by their response to catastrophic emergency, ultimately. And that's you folks and you folks and you folks. And my questions when I've had to deal with the local hazardous mitigation plans is, could the resources be better spent in training, for example? These plans are necessary in order to get federal reimbursement for emergency expenditures, so I kind of get that. But I question the utilization and necessity for expenditure of resources.
Well, I will say that training comes from a different funding source. Mitigation had two separate funding streams, one of which has been completely eliminated by the federal government as of this moment, so we're down to one funding stream for mitigation. And it has gone to show that for every dollar you spend in mitigation and making your community better able to withstand an incident, you're saving $6 to $11 in response and recovery. And so investing that money up front allows you to then avoid that horrific impact that you're going to then have to pay for response and recovery on the back end. So I think, you know, being able to say, hey, this is a different funding stream for training, kind of clears that up as far as we're training ourselves and becoming more resilient as responders in a different way than these projects. So I wouldn't lump them together.
I think that I have been here a little while, and I think it's been about 2 years since you came to the initial program. Is it about that time or longer? Has it been that long? And you've been here with the updates every time. Appreciate it. And then we get the rest of the updates on the basis. But thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Was there any questions over there? No, you're all set. Okay. Oh, Barbie.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. We're all set with the power people. Now this is gonna be a good meeting. Yeah, members, commissions, announcements and requests. Anybody on our little board here?
Yes,
Why am I not surprised?
so I have a
He's
problem
an attorney.
from California, from America. As you're all aware, the county has required CAB board members to go through some education on harassment and bias work. And we've been instructed to take the 2 classes. And I don't have any problem with that. Both issues are very relevant in the workplace, and education goes to those issues should be made available. So we've been instructed to take 2 online courses. I have completed them, and they were not new. If you're an attorney, your continuing education really focuses on some of these issues. But nevertheless, I took both online courses. When you complete the course, you're supposed to click and it's supposed to record that you've completed the course. For some reason, my computer, there's some kind of blockage has not allowed me to do that, so that the county keeps sending me notes that I have failed to meet my obligations in taking these courses. Let me state on the record that I, Robert Laura, hereby certify that I have completed the courses. And I do not intend to.
I would also respond, I have talked to Alex Wilson about it, and she said she's reached out to you to say that she knows that you have completed it, so she's aware.
That's fine.
And if we can also go back to item 8, when you guys are done with your announcements.
I have one, go ahead first.
I am in the same boat with you, excepting I've done those things 4 times.
I know.
And I could have had a spotless house, mow the lawn, and repair the fence in the time that it took me. And it's ridiculous.
Well,
A shortened version might be in line.
Well, they're in the workplace, and it's somewhat of a generational thing. The rules change over periods of time. And so I don't have any problem with,
I think this is kind of a turn, so we can, we'll tie on it a little bit.
well, it's public from the standpoint that the public. That the county has let us know that the public should know that we are being educated. In these issues, and I think that's proper.
Good point, good point. All right. I want to touch base, real quick. I have leadership training, academy. I went through it. I was the second one, the second group. They just finished the third group and they're looking for the fourth group. And I'm sure that folks don't need it, but, since we only have two here, but I'll tell you, this was a tremendous program. It was really well done, very informative. I can't, they're gonna start in September. You give out 1 day a month for 10 months or 9 months, whatever it is. And they'll travel, we went to Gerlach, we went all over the place and just really informed of what was going on in their county. And they did a tremendous job and a great presentation on it. And one of my favorite, which you don't go home and discuss and say, we were at the sewer department today. It was really interesting, but it really was. They put millions of dollars in updating how the water comes in and goes through the different stages. But what impressed me the most was that they had 3 machines up on the floor and they were making little bricks. And these little bricks were these wipes that we throw in the toilet and stuff that are not supposed to go in there. Because they have no way to control it or to get them to dissolve them or anything. And these 3 machines make these bricks up and they go to a conveyor and they load what is it? I think a 45-foot trailer every day to bring it out to the waste dumps over here. So it's amazing. I don't know why that impressed me so much. It caught my eye. I've seen all these bricks coming in. So, okay, any other announcements? Other announcement? Anybody got out there with any announcements coming up? Open it up to anybody. Otherwise, that's it. And then we'll just go to public comment.
Before can we go back to the neighborhood development, just because I have a
Sure.
little.
Sure.
Nothing for the development hub, the only thing happening in the District 1 is gonna be an incline. But we have a couple of engagements. Tomorrow night is going to be the budget 101 for Washoe County. And so they're going to be doing the Washoe checkbook kind of workshop down in the commission chambers. And that's going to be, the idea of it is to add more transparency to how Washoe County spends money. We have this engagement up here, you can see the budget. The idea of that is to take a little survey if you have any questions or if there's things you want to know about, like on how the county spends their money, to submit those in ahead of time. So that the people in lovely finance, they have a head start on what's going to be asked. So if you can't attend that in person, there's also supposed to be a Zoom link for that as well. That's gonna be tomorrow night.
Chambers.
Says right here, July 22nd, 5:30 to 7 p.m. Yes. So that's the main update I have. That's gonna be Commissioner Andrew is gonna be there, and then our CFO.
That's what the commissioners mean. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
It's over on 9th Street if anybody's interested.
That's all I have there.
And if you got early enough to go over there, you spent a lot of money in the county on updating the senior area. And they've done a tremendous job with it. They were able to slide the money real quick in and out, so before the budget came, but they did a great job. It's worth just taking a tour over there. And see how that goes. And, well, got the new swimming pool. I know it's a city, but swimming pool over on Moana, tremendous. There was another $53 million and you will walk up to the desk and they'll give you a tour of the whole area. It's really well worthwhile. That's all I have. Anybody else? No? No. Okay, then we're down to. Okay,
We're on public comment now.
okay. What everybody waits for, meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming. So don't lose faith in us yet. We're working on it.